Hey there, what do you say there, world? Welcome to the Racers Recap, where I can hear myself in the background. My name is Justin.
Diana.
I'm London.
And special guest this week, the one and only yarn-carrying member, London Kaye, who's crocheting away. What are you making, London?
I'm making a giant rainbow. It's going to be up in LA very soon.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, you're doing one of your yarn bombs? Is that what you call it? Yarn bombing? Yarn?
Yes,
bombing?
exactly. Hanging it up on the streets of LA and leaving it there for people to enjoy.
That's so great.
How do you attach it? Like if it's on a wall, how do you attach it to a wall?
I usually do chain link fence, and
Okay.
I'll tie just like little bits of yarn in different places and then tie it up to the chain link and just like pray that no one takes it.
That's so cute.
Oh, that's awesome. Well,
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really cool. All you try to do is spread joy and cheer, right? That's your message. You just want to make people
That's
happy,
it.
and how could you
Yeah.
go wrong with that?
We can't.
That's so cool. Well, all right, let's get to it. This episode kicks off with the Travelocity app. Matt and Redmond are standing there looking through Costa
That's
Rica,
really cool, though.
which is awesome, but very staged, you could see. And we love it. Hey, it's Travelocity. You got to get your commercial in sometime. I'm glad they're still sponsoring the show. We love you, Travelocity. Matt and Redmond leave at 11:57, and what I didn't realize is that Brooke and Scott were almost 2 hours behind them. I thought it was closer.
Yeah, that's a big gap.
That's huge. And then following them up another half hour, mom and dad, another 10 minutes behind them. Lolo, you're like an hour and 45 minutes. What's up with Team Lolo? Do you guys just seem to take it so casually or take your time and make sure you're just not last? Or do you ever try to race for first and just not get it? What was your strategy?
We tried so hard all the time, but for some reason, just could never make our way to the front. Like, we kept getting super lucky that we never got out, but to make our way to the front, it's like if the bus was leaving, we would miss it. Like, there was always something that kept us from getting to the front of the pack.
Yeah, but it's great that, like you said, that you just made it not even by the skin of your teeth at all, but you just did well enough to stay in it and to make it to the final three. That's
a lot of people have won that way, and that's the way you got to do it. You kind of stay under the radar, and then, hey, if you're going to win one, the last one's the one to win. Just ask Kelsey and Joey.
Exactly. That's what we kept thinking. It's like, okay, even if we don't win, at least we're through and have another shot.
Yeah,
just
and
need to win one.
Well, that's the way it goes. You only got to win one. So tonight, just in case you can't see, obviously Corey is dealing with an emergency with his roommate, and James Earl is dealing with electricity issues. His electricity's flickering on and off. So when he gets electricity on again, he's going to jump on and until he gets cut off. So waiting for James. We may have a special guest joining us a little bit later. So let's kick it off. We're in Vietnam, where everybody's had that tough, grueling, hard double leg in Vietnam, and now we're off to Seoul, Korea, where I was looking forward to seeing people getting with the communication barriers, because that's where we had so many problems when we went to Macau and China.
Yeah, did you find it hard to get a cab driver that spoke English, or to get advice or tips?
No one spoke English when it came to the cabs, for sure, but luckily we had so much time at the airport. We were able to gather a lot of information there before we got off the plane.
So you just had to like show them pictures or show them words and just tell them to go that way?
Yeah, exactly. Or like we would have people on the plane write it out in Korean so we could point to the actual language instead of showing them the English clue.
Right.
Perfect. That's the way to do it. I mean, that's why you get to the end.
There was a point in China when Justin was on the street corner just yelling, English!
She was so mad at me.
I was
screaming,
so mad.
English! English! Anyone speak English? Anyone?
She couldn't find anybody that spoke English.
Oh my God. And there was like 40, 50 people around. I'm just screaming. And she's like, nobody's going to answer you.
You also look like a maniac, so I doubt people wanted to help us. So.
Yeah, but if like, hey.
Luckily, there's a camera crew with us, so I feel like we have a little bit of leeway looking like a crazy person because they know we're doing something original and unique.
That's the way we do it. And we got gamer chat going on in our chat room. I love it. It's like,
oh yeah,
yeah, gaming. So add me on Xbox. My gamer tag is Stray Hands. All right. So Matt and Redmond are in the cab saying this is the finals, and one team is going home, and it ain't gonna be us.
Dun dun dun. Like,
the Amazing Race foreshadowing. And they say they hope it's mom and dad because they feel that mom and dad are the only team that can beat them because they're the only team that actually has beat them. So they feel really confident moving on.
I don't blame them, though. I mean, they haven't placed below 4th at all. So they have a reason to be
4th or 5th,
confident and a reason to be scared of mom and dad because they're right. Everything they're saying is right.
So Brooke and Scott say lots of winners have never won a leg, and everybody's looking at them as the underdogs. And I'm like, Brooke and Scott weren't the underdogs. If anybody, it's Team Lola was the underdogs. So, yeah. Like since the beginning. I mean, you guys have. We counted you out like 5-6 weeks ago. To be honest, I mean, damn, we thought the edit.
I think every week we've been saying, "Oh,
Team Lola's next. Team Lola's
next to go home." So.
We just thought that because of the edit that you guys were just quiet and just in the background, you'll just eventually fade, but you might get that redemption. I'm so looking forward to this. But let's continue. Mom and Dad say that the last leg was the hardest leg, but they made it through it, and now they're going to be stronger than ever. Lolo is in the cab dancing and talking about having a good time. Everybody else is talking about something else, and you guys are talking about dancing. Was this part of your strategy? Just kind of stay relaxed?
We always took every moment as it was, would appreciate where we were, the countries we were going to. Logan had never left the country. I had never, ever been anywhere and thought of going to South Korea. So every moment we were just so stoked to be there that, of course, we wanted to talk about the show and the race, but we were also just taking the moment in. So we were always happy. You just never saw us until this episode actually really having fun.
And the coolest part though about never having been out of the country to now I've been on the Amazing Race and to be in the final 3, we know that you make it all the way around is that's something that you always, it's a card you can always pull. I've been around the world in 21 days. I always forget definitely. That fact about myself, but it's definitely something in your top 10 unknown facts about me that you could always look at.
Yeah, it's really cool. But before we go on, just in case you guys don't know, London has a YouTube channel with her sister, and they are just adorable. If you want to watch their recaps, they do a little drinking, sit on the sofa, and I think they kind of pause it during commercials.
Chinese food, it's the best.
You guys kind of pause it during commercials and do your record it then? Is that kind of how you guys are set up?
Yeah, we watch the episode, and then during commercial, we stop and then kind of chat about what we just saw, and then start it back up again. And it's always fun.
That's awesome. Well, I love watching you and your sister, so I hope you guys continue to do something after the Amazing Race because it'll be fun watching you guys.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so upon arriving in Seoul, teams had to travel to the Gangnam Style district where I thought they were going to have to meet Psy and do some dancing. That would have been awesome to have him a little Gangnam Style. What's he doing? Come on, man.
Missed out.
Yes, but they had to find another K-pop band. It's an up-and-coming K-pop band. Didn't really know them. And they received the next clue. You didn't really have to do anything, even though a lot of people were dancing and singing, right? There was really nothing you had to do.
Yeah, we didn't do anything at all. We had to listen to them for a certain amount of time until they got to the chorus and then handed us a clue. So it was maybe a 2-minute pause, and then we got to get back in our cab.
Kind of seemed pointless to me. I know Korea is huge for that K-pop, and they wanted to include it, but I thought they could have done a little bit more there. Hey, have you sing a verse, even if it's not a hard verse. At least learn one. Learn the chorus. Yeah, something.
Oh, I would have
karaoke.
I would have loved. Yeah, let's do some dancing. I went to college for dance. I'm a trained dancer, and there was nothing all season. So I was hoping we'd have to get up on stage and do a little dance. Didn't happen.
Right, so there wasn't a dancing challenge this season. The closest thing was the military was the closest thing to a dance challenge. I guess, right? Huh, that's interesting. They normally have one. And finally we get a dancer who's ready here in the finals, and she never even got a chance to dance.
I know. And I tried to even keep that a secret. I didn't tell everyone I was a dancer just because I wanted to surprise them, but that didn't pay off.
Well, here we go. Matt and Redmond make a mistake, or is this what really cost them? They take the subway, but not only do they take the subway because everybody told them to, but they kind of mosey a little bit and miss the subway by seconds. And I don't know how long they waited.
I'm going to just fault them there.
I don't know how long.
That's the only fault that I'm gonna fault them is not the hustle between catching
The subways, because they show them walking. I don't know how much they walking, but it seems they miss it by seconds. So if they would have just hustled to the airport, they might have made it to that train and could have the train station. Yeah. They hustled to the train station. They might have made it.
Because everybody that they asked said, the train's the way to go. But then I forget who it was. Joey said it, or maybe I think it was Logan.
Logan said that everybody said not to.
Yeah, we asked so many people which way to go, and it was pretty much 50-50, but then we started getting like more clarification around it, and it was almost about the same amount of time, and we were like, let's just take a cab. Like, I think Joey said door-to-door service, like all that stuff I think helps. And also, before we left the airport, there was like a holding time where we all had to sit there and wait about 30 minutes, and the boys were the first ones to leave. So we all got to see, they went on the subway. Next was like Brooke and Scott went on in the cab. Tara and Joey went in the cab. So we're like, we're going cab for sure.
Oh, so was that a way of like giving you an advantage from check-in times?
I think it was because they wanted the leg to take place at night, and we arrived too early.
Gotcha.
So we all just kind of had a 30-minute like sit down and wait.
Yeah. That's cool. And sometimes they got to do that for the cameras and getting the equipment through and custom.
Yeah.
And they have, so I get it. All right. So Matt and Redmond are talking, and I'm here watching them. And every time I look at Matt and Redmond, I'm like, I don't want them to leave right now. I want them to get to the final three, but if just something feels like it the whole episode. Okay. Now, so Matt and Redmond get in the taxi after they get this train. And the taxi goes into the wrong direction. Now, do you know anything about the times on how far behind or how far this put them behind? Or
apparently, it put them behind about 45 minutes because they went in such a wrong direction. There were two like colleges, gymnasium sort of things, and we did have to like double check with our cab driver to make sure we were going to the right one. And I guess that just got lost in translation with them, and they went to the wrong one.
And they sounded similar. Like I know when Matt checked with his cab driver, he said something.
It's like Huang, and it was it's Huang. It's like, oh no. Yeah, for us it sounds so similar, but we don't know if it's like that slight difference makes such a big deal.
Yeah. And there was a lot of traffic that night too. So going out of the way in the wrong direction and then going back, I mean, that's just painful.
What was the street name for us?
We were on it. Quang. I don't even want to talk about it. She wants to talk about our stuff. Teams talking about taking the subway being a big risk, and it's harder to follow the directions. Possibly, Joey says door to door, so most teams take the cab. One team didn't, and it definitely looks like it put them behind at least 45 minutes. So. The first roadblock this teammate selected had to take part in the sport stacking, the sport of cup stacking. You quickly arrange 3 cups and then, 5 cups and then 3 cups, 6 cups, 3 cups and get it in 7 seconds.
So you knew what it was upon arrival. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
But not before. We knew once we walked in and saw the cup stacking going on.
So before you chose who did the roadblock, did you have any idea?
Oh, yeah. We saw the guys there stacking cups, and we were kind of in the groove of like, Logan's going to do this one, and we just stuck with it.
I didn't even think that his big ass hands might be a problem.
No, I wasn't worried. I mean, we've been through so much at this point. Yeah. Like the amount of trust I had in Logan to do anything is just like at an all-time high. But Tara was sitting there like freaking out if Joey's going to do it or not. And I'm over there like, oh, Logan's got this. Don't worry.
That's great. Well, that seems to be like your attitude the whole race. And it seems to be paying off for you guys.
I think like they have to. I mean, you don't know really fully his strengths and weaknesses. So you just have to have faith in your partner to say like, I know that for my partner, I'll do whatever task comes my way. And I know that you'll do the same. So.
And for any future races, the fourth, this leg and the leg before this, there's usually a crucial double roadblock that is going to determine a lot of people's races. This is the one that usually happens, and you got to be prepared for it. Because this right here, making the decision on who did this roadblock, I think changed the game right now. Because if obviously we saw they made the wrong decision and let Joey do it. And I think if they would have let Tara do it, they wouldn't have had as many issues. But again, we'll see how it plays out as we continue on. I think that the 7 seconds was a little too much. I think they should have been 6. How long do you think it took people to do the task to get the cups?
It only took Logan about 5 minutes in there. I mean, he
wow.
left. Yeah, we got there right. Brooke left maybe 30 seconds after we arrived. Joey left maybe 2 minutes after, and then we were there by ourselves for only a few minutes. So he was really, really fast. They were telling us they tested all this stuff and calculated 7 seconds is the perfect amount of time. But I agree. I think it could have been a little.
I was watching. It was like they were
yeah, even them demonstrating to you was only about 5.
Yeah, when the kid was doing it in slow motion, he beat it in 7 seconds.
Yeah. How cute was that little kid when he did it so fast and then was just so proud of himself?
You could tell it was like he got a personal best. I saw that one. He was like, did anyone see that?
It's 2.5 seconds. Anybody see it? It was great.
It was so cute.
All right, so that wasn't as hard as they kind of made it out to be. At least it wasn't for Team Lolo, who went in and obviously crushed it. So I think it should have been 7 seconds. I think it should have been 6 seconds, but whatever. We move on. Brooke was super excited, and this is one of the times she was also positive, and not saying I can't, but I can because my cousin does this at parties, and
it is. Trust me, this is definitely a school thing. Flipping bottles, spinning spinners, stacking cups, all middle school, elementary school type activities.
Okay.
Entertainment.
I bow to your knowledge. That's definitely right. So Brooke's super excited. Joey's huge hands are not helping with this task. He seems to be a little distraught. Would love to. He's normally in the chat room. I'd love to see how long it took Joey to finally get it done. And Redmond stacks cups at parties to impress chicks. So
I think that may have been a joke.
Yeah. I think half the things that come out of his mouth are a joke. I mean, you can't take any of that too seriously. And this is where some people seem to get confused with the route info being an actual task and making online. It seemed like people didn't understand that this actually happens during the Amazing Race. You don't just go get a clue and leave. Sometimes it's a task for a route info. And we head to the Cultural Arts Center where you had to make some kimchi.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Just connecting with that. Our first thing with the bike ride was a route info. It wasn't a task. It was just you have to do this in order to get your clue. Yeah. Kimchi looked cool though.
Kimchi looked cool. It's obviously there's nothing more Korean than K-pop kimchi. So they're doing a very cultural Korean thing, which I really enjoyed doing it. How hard was this task?
For us, it wasn't that hard. We again had worked together so much. When we watched the example, we were allowed to take notes, which made it easier. So I was there kind of taking notes. Logan was taking it in as well. And because we didn't bicker or fight at all, when we got down to it, we were able to get it done really quickly.
We also noticed that you switched. You had one person starting it and you were over. Normally that's not allowed, but I guess you were within your 10, 20 feet. But did any other teams do that? Because it seems really like a smart strategic move.
It wasn't too far away. The whole space was pretty small. So I don't think it was farther than 20 feet.
That's awesome.
But it really was the first time that we noticed how much other teams kind of were butting heads and were able to use this to our advantage. It was also the first time we had a really good cab driver. So we were pumped.
That makes a huge difference. Bertram has said it to us on the finish line. It's not about the tasks. It's about getting there.
He said it's how you get from A to B.
Yeah, more people get eliminated because of getting from A to B than actual tasks. So
absolutely.
So that is an underrated thing that it's hard to practice that unless you kind of go to Manhattan and try to get a cab, go to somewhere how do you prepare for that?
Right. Have you guys ever had kimchi before?
No.
I have, yes.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan. What about you?
Well, that one time, and I think it's probably my first and last because it was so gross.
Yeah, you either love it or don't love it. It's kind of like sushi, I think.
What's it similar to?
It's pickled,
it's cabbage, but
sauerkrauty, if you want to.
Yeah, with a lot of cayenne pepper, and we had to mix this certain mixture for it, and it had to be the right consistency. So we even made up a mixture, and they said no, too thick. So we had to pour it out and redo it. So it had to be the perfect consistency, and that I think was the hardest part of the challenge.
And I like that they didn't tell you what was wrong, but they just told you which ones were wrong. Diana thinks they should have made you restart from the beginning.
But that's just
would that have?
I'm sure nobody wants to do
no,
that.
would that have would that made like a huge difference as far as like people leaving, or do you think it's kind of would have been relatively the same if that people had to start over?
I think it would have been relatively the same because so the thing was, so to make one perfect batch, it wasn't enough to do all 5 of your cabbage heads. So pretty much we used one batch to do all 5, but we realized you have to make 2 batches perfect to make them all like coated perfectly.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So everybody kind of was in that same boat, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it seemed relatively simple, very cultural. I enjoyed it. There really wasn't much to it, though. I wish there would have been something to it that could have kind of adjusted.
I loved how, like,
standings.
when Tara ran up, she was just like, this is so beautiful. Like, you got to see kind of one of those moments where you appreciate where you are and what it looks like and just how it's so different than where you come from. Did you enjoy that as well in a location such like as different as South Korea?
Oh yeah, especially there because it was so zen. There was like really gentle music, like live music playing, and like everyone was dressed so beautifully that you couldn't help but appreciate that moment. I think, yeah, some of the others kind of pass you by, but that one you had to like really stand there and be grateful.
That's awesome.
Well, that's awesome. And then this is where Scott says, you know, I got this. I cook at home. Don't worry. I'm gonna do my thing here in the kitchen. So, but then, you know, Scott and Brooke, they always go back and forth a little bit. And Brooke said, don't say what we're doing out loud because they don't follow directions very well. Talking about Team Mom and Dad, getting a little salt, little shady salt going on here. What is she referring to? The one time that she misread the clue? The one time?
I was trying to think about when she doesn't follow with attention to detail and Tara. I mean, we thought they were by far the strongest team.
Except the one leg.
Yeah, but too, it's probably that friendly like boo boo. Don't like. I don't want them to hear me because they're good. They're sneaky. So I could definitely see how they could overhear a little nugget of information and use it to their advantage.
Everybody's worried about the sneaky mom and dad team.
Oh yeah.
And then Brooke tells Scott, I think you did it wrong because they're laughing at you. I think laughing at you is a good sign that you're doing something wrong.
That's what I asked Justin. I was like, do you think you really did it wrong? And Justin said, yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's why they're laughing at him.
Yeah.
These stupid Americans.
Yeah, like, oh, we just told him to put some damn cayenne pepper. What is he doing?
Oh, and at this point also we're all like cut up and like a mess. So getting cayenne pepper in all your like, in every part of your body, and like we were all covered in grossness. We had like the dirt stuck to us after we were done with this. Like this was
Don't you agree though that that's like a good dirty feeling? Like I think I said this in an earlier podcast that like when we checked into India, I've never been as sweaty and dirty in some of these countries, but when you check in and you kind of own that dirt, it is like a great feeling. Yeah.
Oh yeah, none of us wiped it off.
Yeah.
We're all owning it.
I love that. So Lolo is splitting up at this point, and this is where I noticed that the smart thing to do, is one was watching them finish the task, and the other one was starting the first part. And I think, obviously, from talking to you, it made a big difference. You guys were in, out. Your communication, obviously, was the big thing.
Yeah, always. We didn't fight once this whole show. Like, pretty crazy.
I believe that.
Yeah. We got flustered, but we didn't like ever really like
So Mom and Dad and Lolo just nailed this task, at least from the edit. It looks like you both did an awesome job. Not first try, but both got it on your second try, relatively.
Yeah, second try.
Brooke and Scott bicker their way to leaving this task in third, and Mom and Dad they get a super slow cab. And as I let both teams pass them, it's the worst feeling in the world when you're sitting in a cab in the left lane and you see one team go by, and then you see that second team go by, and you're like, so what did you guys do? Did you guys try to influence your cab driver, or was he just naturally the man?
This, like I said, first time we ever got to experience this, passing people on the street. And these cabs were the same ones that took us from the gymnasium to here. They were already predetermined cabs, like that. Gotcha. The show, we didn't have to pay them.
And you couldn't steal them. You didn't need to.
We couldn't. Yeah. So they were kind of like waiting for us. So we knew going from the gymnasium to there and then from there to the next place, we knew we had a baller cab. So we were kind of like just excited, and so was he. And it was a great feeling.
Well, I think that having a good cab driver makes a huge difference, and also helps boost morale. And people don't understand that having that morale during the race can help change when you're having a little rough time like we had in Korea. I mean, in China. I wish we would have had a good cab driver then too. So Matt and Redmond get there, and they're all alone. And as everybody else has made their way to the second roadblock, where one teammate has to fight a street fighter, professional esports style in a huge arena. The best of the best in the world are sitting there, and you get to play against them. And you've never played a video game.
No, I have not.
I loved your like introduction of that. You're like, I grew up with a sister. We danced. We did girl things, and not video games is not one of them.
That's great.
Yeah.
But
Logan, yeah,
I heard he gave you strategy. Tell us what he told you.
Yeah, he like kind of had a feeling we were going to be doing video game something or other. We didn't know I would have to do it, but he's like, just in case like anything goes down, just like push every button. And I was like, all right. So
It definitely looked like that.
Yeah. And then you were just smacking the joystick.
Yeah. I died. I'm sorry.
She called it the boob smack. She
Like,
smacked it like a boob.
I died.
I was like,
it was so cute. You're like slamming the buttons,
like as if it's harder would make it hit harder.
yeah.
But I like that you were so into it, and that sometimes that's the way to go, and it seemed to work out well for you. Did you finish that task fastest, other than I guess Matt?
I mean, I got out of there before Scott did, so I like to think besides Matt, I got it done the fastest. But
nice. Meanwhile, Scott's the one talking the most junk while he's getting his ass whipped. I don't know why he's the one that's being like, if that was in America, he would have got into like a little fisticuffs. You called somebody, he's like, take that, you bitch. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what are you doing, man?
He's cute. So funny. He is so funny. But my guy kept being like, you will never win. You will never win. And I was like, I will win. I have to win. Let's do it again.
Yeah, so you didn't know that every 10 rounds they would have a disadvantage, right?
Oh, no. If I knew that going into it, I would have lost everything way faster.
See,
because
that's what I said.
Why, yeah. That they must have not told us that on purpose, or else I think everyone may have used that strategy.
Because when we first watched it, that was my thought. I said, if Scott's really trying to beat him every single round, that's going to take a lot longer. But they kind of showed you doing so poorly. I'm like, I think London, that like, because you haven't played, you were dying more quickly. And that's why you kind of advanced further on.
I also wasn't changing characters or anything like that. I was sticking with the same person. I was like having them just start over. So yeah, it ended up working out.
So I think from watching your podcast, they said it was about a minute a round. So,
yeah.
Okay, so
I don't
took
remember.
20 times, it was 20 minutes. It took 30 times, 30 minutes. And everybody got it by 30, 40.
Yeah, that's like least amount. That's not for this whatever setup or.
Right.
Yeah.
But Tara kept changing too. I think that's why, like at least you learned one character, got used to that one character.
I learned one character.
Right.
Okay, now, did you have to go through the training, and what did the training involve? Just telling you what the buttons did, or any sort of strategy?
Yeah, there was barely any training.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, I don't even remember what it was. It was so quick. It was only when the computer was starting up. They were like, I don't even remember what they said. What
was your strategy for picking a player?
I liked her costume.
Such a girl thing.
Total girl thing to do. So.
Worked out well for you.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit excited about this task because, like Scott, I kind of grew up on Nintendo. Me and Scott are right around the same age, so I grew up playing Nintendo. One of my Super Nintendo games was Street Fighter. So
I would have loved it, but I would have felt comfortable with Diana doing this task as well because she beats me at a lot of video games.
Yeah, but I probably would have performed like any one of them because those people were amazing.
Oh my God, those guys are just ridiculous.
Best in the world.
One hand behind the back, blindfolded.
I would have done like E Honda.
Just cheesing E Honda. All right, so Scott plays Nintendo. He grew up playing Chun-Li, so he went straight Chun-Li. I thought he was going to go with the damn kick the whole time and just cheese the kick. Didn't see much of it, but he was doing well. London never played any video games, but she is a huge button smasher. We find out that is a strategy from.
Do you like Street Fighter now?
I haven't played since, but I feel like if anybody ever has that on anywhere, I'm going to have to grab their controller and give it another go.
There we go. Dave and Buster's. I see a trip coming. Rematch. All of you go head to head in Street Fighter.
That would be so fun. Matt would kick our ass.
Yeah, it was tough watching Tara struggle. And then when she kept failing and then she kind of got personal and was like, I spend my time defeating
real enemies,
bad guys.
Yeah, I know when you're frustrated, it's like, dang, what are you gonna do? And
I know
Joey was just, oh god. All right, so Scott's talking junk while he's getting his ass whipped. Tara hasn't played video games in 25 years. Scott said. Brooke said, Scott, you're so flowery just pressing the buttons. He had the opposite of you. He was like little dainty with the buttons, where you were just like. So he was the opposite strategy, and it seemed that his strategy didn't work as well as yours.
It was just cute to see him like sticking up for her. Insulting the player was his way of like supporting her and making her not feel bad that she was losing.
So I like when Tara's sitting there and she gets like defeated without even hitting the guy, and she goes, "Did I get it? Did I win? You didn't even hit him. Did you win?" I felt frustrated, fun, felt bad. It's something that I like to see on the race. I like to see people struggle on the race because I want people at home to know how hard it is. Like, sometimes it doesn't come across how hard the race is because the people on it make it look easy, or the edit makes it look a little easier than it is. So I want to see these tasks that take hours. A 10-minute task is boring. I don't want a 10-minute task. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I think this was an awesome task.
This one,
just because it wasn't it wasn't physical necessarily. It was just so unusual and unique, and so perfect for the country that we were in. And when are you going to be in an arena like that, like in a space like that? I just thought it was perfect, and it didn't matter who was good at anything leading up to it. But yeah, I don't know, I loved it.
Well, we're looking here, and this is the part that I want to get into. Joey's pissed at the pro gamers because they're actually trying to win. Joey says that the gamer has an ego for beating up on a girl. The little bastard won't let her win. Yeah. Oh, you're beating up on a mom. And I'm like, all right, come to America and play a pro in any sport. Oh, he's going to let you win? You know how his friends are going to be insulting him? Like, the stuff that he got to go through at home when he loses to a girl.
I don't think he meant any of that. That was him, like, that was support.
I asked him on Twitter. He was still fighting against him. He was like, oh, I wouldn't insult. I was like, would you let a rookie cop out cop you? And he was like, well, I wouldn't insult him and put him down to teach him. And I get that. But in this stadium, this is what they do for a living. They are literally the best in the world, and people worship them. Like, when they lose a game, people cry. Like, you don't understand how diehard passionate these e-gamers are. Esports is the next huge thing in the world right now. They're getting their own channels, they're getting their own TV shows. Like, this is huge. So it seemed like they weren't trying to kill you guys, but they weren't going easy on you guys. Did you hear anybody say that they weren't supposed to go easy on you, that they were just supposed to go balls to the wall and try to beat you every time?
Oh, they were trying to beat us as hard as possible every single time, which I loved.
Yeah, and because you only had to win once. Like, I feel like if you had to win best out of 3, then maybe they would have let up a little bit, let you win 1, and then kind of destroyed you the next 2 rounds. But the fact that they only had to lose once for them was enough of a motivation to go hard.
And the fact that a blindfold comes out at a certain point, it's like, we can do this. Like,
so let's go there.
Yeah,
we noticed, because we paused it, that not only was this guy blindfolded, but he was playing one hand and beating Tara. Blindfolded with one hand.
Yeah, that was the
still
end
beating
of her rounds,
Tara.
I think.
Yeah, I mean, apparently Phil said she's down to like blindfolded in one finger, but
oh my God.
She was there. I mean, they didn't check in until at least 30 minutes after we were all done, so she was going for a while.
Wow.
I liked watching her struggle, but it sucked because, you want to see a team that you feel deserves to be in the finals. But hey, it's an amazing race. You don't deserve anything. You get what you deserve.
I wonder if she could have changed her mind frame to just look at it as like some sort of army training,
like a simulator. You got to go through the simulators, right?
like to learn the buttons better, or to go back and to maybe ask for better training, to just change it to say like, this is an Army simulator and it's not a video game.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But, you know, she got it done.
Yeah, Matt and Redmond get there, and Tara's still there. She's on like round 30-something, and Matt is actually gets on and starts killing it like, within the first 10 rounds. Without any of the blindfolds or anything like that, he's getting the guy down pretty low, and it's pretty impressive.
He had like the slow fingers too. Like he knew what he was doing, and I loved when he asked them for like a tip or something, and he tricks, and he's like, no, this guy's actually good.
Yeah,
he doesn't need any.
Don't help this guy. He could beat me. He doesn't want. Yeah, that was a little ego from the. That was the only time you saw a little ego from the gamer. He didn't want to lose in that first 10 rounds. That's when you'll definitely get some feedback on social media.
Yeah.
So Brooke believes the jinx is on, and Scott says, "You know what? I think we're gonna win this leg." You never want to say that, no matter how much I know I did it. I said it, and you never want to do that. The Amazing Race gods, if you believe in the karma of the Amazing Race, they always come and get you.
Yeah, they do. But hey, they're doing well.
They are doing well.
Yeah.
And they wound up actually doing well this way.
Exactly. Exactly. So, I know, no prize. It actually made us feel a little better coming in second.
Oh, absolutely. Like it wouldn't have made a difference, especially how close you were. I said the same thing. I said that really stinks, because to actually win one and then to have no prize.
Jeez.
Yeah.
All right, so Brooke believes the jinx is on. The crowd goes nuts when Tara finally wins. You could tell that the gamer was actually feeling bad, but he had to do what he had to do. Gave her a big hug, and they all left. Matt won within the first 20 rounds because the guy was playing one-handed. He never went blindfolded, so it looked like he did that really well. And Tara despises everything about video games, and this is the first time we see Tara really getting emotional and start breaking down in the cab on the way there.
I won too, because she was just so helpless. There was like, you could just tell that she didn't know what else to do.
Yeah. So it's off to the pit stop. It's a rooftop garden where Brooke and Scott are racing Matt and Redmond to the finish. No, they're not. They're racing to the finish line, and there's no prize. There's no prize for their first place. What I was told is that they got an upgrade to first class on the way back to the USA. But
definitely helps. That'll help.
That would definitely help. But I also heard that everybody else got that upgrade afterwards, so it didn't really.
Which we're very jealous, because we didn't have any upgrades at all ever on any flight in any.
You guys have had two upgrades and a private plane.
Oh my gosh, that private plane! But the first class was. I mean, I'd never been in first class, and it was so cool. The seats just leaned all the way back. Yeah. Not to rub it in. Well,
we always say, like, everyone always asks us, and I say, I love traveling, but I hate flying. I hate sitting in coach or economy, and I'm sure traveling's so much better when you're in first class, when seats go all the way back. And
oh yeah, it was
long flights.
Yeah, definitely.
Airports and flights are like.
Definitely makes a difference. Matt and Redmond make it close, but for them, it's time to go. It was their time. They made a mistake, and then they got a bad cab. And at this point of the race, those two things will get you almost every time. For us, we made a mistake and got a bad cab, but that was the leg that we got lucky, and Diana killed it on that task, and we squeaked by. So we know the feeling on how to be on the other side of this. And we're here at the pit stop. Did Matt and Redmond missing the train because they walked cost them the race, or was it the cab driver?
I didn't even know about this until a lot longer after the show. I didn't know they got a bad cab after grabbing that clue from the Gangnam Style spot. So I really think that's what did it, because they were much faster than Tara in the video game. So I think they would have made up any time that they lost with the subway.
Oh, that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
All right,
and they apparently, sorry to interrupt, they apparently asked a few different cab drivers on where to go to what stadium. And the one guy said he knew, so they trusted him and got in. So it really wasn't important. They played it smart, asking around. So
I wonder if that was just like lost in translation, because there were those two universities that were so close in name that when he heard it, I mean, it's just
yeah. I don't know. Would you rather go out though with like a bad cab Or in the situation that you don't know your partner before, I would feel so bad if it was my fault sending like Logan home because of something I couldn't do on a challenge.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
No, I would
look at
rather go
us.
out on a bad cab.
We make one
Yeah.
wrong decision with the cab, and then that cost us the whole race. We fell an hour behind, wind up losing by like 10, 15 minutes. So
Yeah, I'd rather it not be in my hands.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if you give it your all and you don't win, then you could say you gave it your all and you didn't win. We gave it our all, we didn't win, but it was just one.
Bad.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well,
it's
whatever.
a hard question.
All right, what do you think about overall leg design, Diana?
I liked it.
You liked it?
I like that it gave like a flavor of South Korea.
Yeah, definitely felt very South Korean. I love that they actually had a task for the route info. I felt it was pretty linear, though. I didn't think that there was too much time to pass people to like make up enough time where they needed 40 minutes. There was no task you could make.
But
up 40
I also
minutes.
think because there's only 4 teams, it's just tough. If you make a mistake at this point, then you're done.
Yeah, but I think if you have a task at this point of the race that takes at least an hour, not tasks that take 15, 20 minutes. With this, the video game task was the longest task, you would say, during this leg?
I would say so. The kimchi did take a little bit of time, but yeah, video games took a lot longer. We were there for probably about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I would like at this part of the race to always have a task that takes longer than an hour. Something that's going to take grueling, that's going to wear you out physically and make you make mental mistakes. And this is the part of the race where I want to see those type of things.
That was for sure Vietnam. My gosh, that was so. I've never yelled bloody murder. Like,
oh yeah, let's go. All right, let's go to that. Why did you scream for Floyd? I mean, he's the sweetest guy in the world, but if you were screaming for me, I would have laughed at you and kept going because I'm fighting you for last place.
Oh, I wouldn't blame you for a second. I mean, it was so hot. I was so mentally exhausted at that point. I was yelling for everyone. And because we had the crews around us, the locals on the side were like, why is this girl yelling for us? There's like 6 people around her and they're not doing anything. So why does she need my help? So I was like, Floyd.
Yeah, that was kind of painful. Because you can hear it in your voice too, like how helpless you are and how much you just needed like a leg up.
He's such a nice guy.
Oh my gosh. And when he couldn't like get back up and keep going, I was like, what can I do? Like I was there, but then once Joey came and then left, I was like, I gotta go. I didn't know what else I could do. So I feel horrible, but
that
Floyd,
was actually, that was tough to watch.
Floyd is amazing.
Yeah, she won America's Heart.
It was tough to watch fun go out that way.
Oh, so hard because they truly are amazing and so fun.
That was actually like one of the legs. Well, seeing like the shrimp basket, I said, oh, I wouldn't have wanted to do that. And there's not many tasks where I really say like this would have been you or I didn't want to do it. But this one, I was just, no.
Yeah.
I wanted no part of that. I was thankful it wasn't on our season.
Well, let's get to my super fan. Let's finish this recap, and then we got a couple minutes. We could talk about some other stuff. No, it's not you. It's me. The super fan move. I'm actually going to give it to London and Logan. I think you guys made a great decision by splitting up that task. We were the only one that using a little bit of strategy to kind of move ahead, and I think it worked well for you. Your communication worked out perfect. So you're getting the super fan move for splitting up and multitasking.
Thank you, Justin.
There you go, Diana. Who's going putting check?
I don't have anybody. This kind of originated from you.
I know.
And
so they don't have to be an asshole. Is that the only way to get put in check?
No, it's like the way that you talk to people. And
you're not going to put Joey in check for being like a
no, because I thought it was a little bit endearing. I thought it was cute. He was sticking up for her.
Okay. All right. So nobody's getting put in check. Let's go. Next week. We're off to Chicago, flying first class. Lolo, the great communicators, versus Mom and Dad, the veterans. There's going to be some Brooke and Scott, the Bickersons. Is that what you guys call them, the Bickersons?
We call them Team Drama.
Team Drama, there you go. Racing cars, Joey screaming, "Go Red Sox" at the Cubs Stadium. What looks like a freaking terrible final task to me. And we get to see Ernie and Cindy handing out tickets.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yes.
But like Scott said, that he had race blinders on, that he didn't even recognize them or realize who they were.
He didn't?
No.
Oh my God.
Race blinders on.
That's funny. All right. So, what do we do? I know you can't tell us much about, or can't tell us anything other than what we've seen on the race, but circumnavigating the globe. Now,
Yes.
you get to say that you're one of the few people on Earth who have ever done it. Few people on
Yeah.
Earth who have ever done it. And next week you're going to Chicago. Have you ever been to Chicago? Do you know Chicago? What about Logan?
No. Logan had gone to Chicago a couple of times, so I was excited about that. But I'd never been there. And the amount, I mean, you guys know, after doing this for like 3 weeks of barely any sleep, barely, not normal eating patterns, don't know what time zone you're in, we're all just like, whew. And yeah, I mean, I think for me, like the no technology and being disconnected for that amount of time was a really cool experience attached to getting to see the world in this really unique way. So I don't know, it was unlike anything else, but I was happy to go back to Chicago, be back in America.
I loved unplugging for that reason too. There's not many times that you really get to turn everything off. You're not taking pictures at locations that you are and telling people that you're, somewhere. Like we always joke that when we turned our phones back on, and I'm sure it must have like blinged and blinged for 15 minutes getting all your text messages. Oh, well, maybe not so much you, but we had a public start.
So everybody saw us.
Everybody knew. So when we got our phones back, we were getting all those messages. But what was your story?
Oh man. Oh, my story for where I was going.
Your cover story.
My sister told everyone I was going to rehab.
Happy rehab.
Well, so for me though, I work for myself, of course, so that was easy. But I was traveling with my friend before I was even cast on the show for a month and a half. So after I got back, I only had a week, and then I was leaving to travel Europe again. So I just kind of said our trip was starting earlier, and it worked out nicely. But last year for me was like for sure summer of travel. I was gone the whole time. So
that's awesome.
It was really awesome.
All right, final three. Diana, what's it going to be? Tell me first, second, and third. Who's going down? What's going to be?
I don't know. I'd like
not what you'd like. Okay. What would you like to see?
No, I'd like to see. Oh, this feels.
What?
Oh my gosh, are you kidding?
I know. I'd like to see Tara and Joey because I feel a connection, like you and I played similar or raced similar to how they're racing. And then really second and third, Brooke and Scott. I kind of would love to see you win, you and Logan, because just to know what that feels like, and then to win when it matters. But I think it'll be Mom and Dad, Brooke and Scott, and then London and Logan.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Mom and Dad are the favorites going in, but
I think Brooke and Scott are going to win.
I think see, I look at this. I'm looking at it as comparing it to our season. I think they have a paparazzi team, which is like Brooke and Scott, so they're going to finish in third because they're going to bicker at some point, and it's going to cost them. That's the way life works. Then you got the team Lolo, who's just like Kelsey and Joey, kind of hanging in the background, just staying at the top there. Just kind of, they could sneak in and win a first place with Mom and Dad. So I'm going to call a Mom and Dad win, Team Lolo second, and Brooke and Scott in third. We'll see what happens. Okay, All-Stars. Is there anybody in your cast that wouldn't go?
Oh, I'm sure everyone would love to go back.
Okay.
I think
even
how
Shamir.
Could you not? I think even Shamir. I mean, he's an interesting guy. I've gotten to know him better after the show. I think he did enjoy his time. I think everyone would go back. But I mean, I think Team Fun is a shoo-in. Those two. Come on. There's nothing better.
Yeah.
I think Team Fun is definitely a lock.
Team Fun, Matt and Redmond.
Matt and Redmond have a huge chance. Yeah. Liz and Mike have a good chance, depending.
Really?
Yeah. Well, they fit a certain style of racer that there's not many like them. I mean, there was Mike and Rochelle who would actually just like them.
Right. But what about Vank and Ashton? Those two are an interesting dynamic.
I don't think they have a chance.
No?
I don't think America loved them enough. I don't think they endeared enough. I love Vank the Tank. I've watched him after the show. He's got such a great personality. I wish he would have shined on the show more. Same thing with Logan. Like he seems like a funny dude, but he just doesn't get any airtime, dude. He gets zero airtime.
We've laughed about that the whole time. That we're just like not even in this thing.
I was literally saying, is he too good looking? Do they just not want to show somebody that looks like a perfect guy? That was like the first thing
that Justin said. He was like, "Wow, that's
Jesus
good
Christ!"
Guy.
Well, that's like tall, dark, handsome, light eyes, jacked, 6-pack. I mean, what are you?
Yeah. I mean, I was able to hang with him for 3 weeks, and
honesty, was that why you picked?
We kept it cool.
Was it because he was good looking, or because you saw
he
big,
was like
muscular?
6'5" and muscular.
Yeah, by the time I got down to my line of picking and who was left, I mean, it was an easy choice. I was shocked. I was shocked that he hadn't been picked earlier.
That's
So,
yeah. I figured he'd be first or second pick because he's just like just looks like a towering individual that you'd be kind of scared of or intimidated by.
Yeah.
Except
so,
smile. All right, what else, babe? Anything for next week?
I got nothing.
So what's going on for next week? You guys are all grouped up. You're having a viewing party in New York, LA, Chicago, Massachusetts, East Coast, West Coast. What can you tell us?
We got a West Coast party going down, and
West Coast.
I'm so excited to see everyone.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun.
A lot of people like West Coast parties because of the chance that the cast and crew might show up, like, Phil and stuff. So that's always, if it's in LA and that's a good spot to have it, there's a chance. Bertram tends to show up. Phil might stop by. A lot of the cameramen and stuff, sound guys that you bond with. It's a cool thing. And
for sure, I'll be taking pictures and posting and doing all the things.
Yes.
And yeah, definitely.
So make sure
sharing the love.
Make sure you follow London on social and on her YouTube channel with her sister. They are cute.
For sure.
Doing their recaps. I'm sure we'll see you guys doing some.
Your sister's so cute, Chase. She's saying that we should come, but I can't. I teach, and I just it being on a Thursday too is just what a difficult.
What a night, right? 10 o'clock on Thursday. But I'm just happy everyone's still tuning in and hopefully enjoying us as a cast and how the show and the season has gone. So
absolutely.
Your sister reminds me of Violet Benson. She looks kind of.
Oh yeah. The daddy's. Yeah.
That's who it is. I knew that she looked like somebody. I'm like, is it an actress? But it is not. Yeah, I have her on Snapchat. That 100%. I didn't know her name. Okay.
So we love you. We love you guys, each and every one of you. We thank you so much for taking the time out of your night for spending it with us. If you'd give us a little thumbs up, a like, a share, a tweet, a hey there, it would help the show grow, and we can get some more races on next year for season 30. Hopefully, I won't be here recapping that because we'll be on the show all
stars. Celebrities. Maybe we'll get celebrity guests.
Celebrities versus all. Celebrities versus all stars. I'm calling it. All right, London. Thank you so much for being on with us.
Very nice talking to you.
Can't wait to meet you in person.
Yeah, I look forward to meeting you sometime.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good one. Later.
Bye.